Now in the next few slides we will learn some basic common three-word phrasal verbs with transitive verbs. The first one is break in on, which means interrupt a conversation. Example: I was talking to Mum on the phone when the operator broke in on our call. The next phrasal verb is catch up with, which means to keep abreast. Example: after our month-long trip, it was time to catch up with the neighbors and the news around town. Next phrasal verb is to check up on, which means to examine, to investigate. Example: the boys promised to check up on the condition of the summer house from time to time. To come up with, which means to contribute, something like a suggestion, or to contribute money. Examples: engineers have come up with new ways of saving energy. After years of giving nothing, the old parishioner was able to come up with $1,000 donation. To cut down on, which means to curtail expenses. Example: we tried to cut down on the money we were spending on entertainment. To drop out of normally means to leave school. Example: I hope none of my students drop out of the school this summer or this semester. The first three-word phrasal verb on the list here is to get along with, means to have a good relationship with. Example: I found it very hard to get along with my brother when we were young. Second phrasal verb is to get away with, means to escape something or to escape a blame. Example: Janet cheated on the exam and then tried to get away with it. To get rid of something means to eliminate. Example: the citizens tried to get rid of the corrupt mayor in the recent election. To get through with means to finish. Example: when will you ever get through with that program? To keep up with means to maintain pace with. Example, or two examples here: you have to read the latest magazines if you want to keep up. The second example: it's hard to keep up with the Joneses. It's hard to keep up with the Joneses when you lose your job. To look forward to anticipate, normally with pleasure. Examples: the children are really looking forward to their holiday. The second example: I always look forward to the beginning of a new semester. And the last three-word phrasal verb on the list is to look down on, means to despise. Examples: it's typical of an uncivilized country that the citizens look down on their geographical neighbors. The next example: don't look down on them just because they haven't been as successful as you. Now let's learn some more common basic three-word phrasal verbs using transitive verbs. The first one is to look in on, means to visit somebody. Example: we were going to look in on my brother-in-law, but he wasn't home. The next phrasal verb, to look out, or to look out for something, means to be careful, to anticipate. Examples: Look out! There is a bike coming. Next example, good instructors will look out for early signs of failure in their students. The next phrasal verb is to look up to, means to respect. First graders really look up to their teachers, which means first graders really respect their teachers. To make sure of means to verify. Example, make sure of the student's identity before you let him into the classroom. To put up with means to tolerate. If you don't know the meaning of tolerate, look at its meaning in Arabic. Example, the teacher had to put up with a great deal of nonsense from the new students. To run out of means to exhaust supply. Example, the runners ran out of energy before the end of the race. To take care of. To take care of normally people or somebody, to be responsible for them. Example, my oldest or my eldest sister took care of us when we were young children after mom died. Now here we have three more basic common three-word phrasal verbs using transitive verbs. The first one, to talk back to, which means to answer impolitely. Example, the star player talked back to the coach and was thrown off the team. The second example, to think back on, means to recall, to remember. Example, I often think back on my childhood with great pleasure. To walk out on means to abandon, to leave. Example, or two examples here, he walked out on his wife and children after 15 years of marriage. The second example, her husband walked out on her and their 3 children.